Our program begins as we visit a site just slightly beyond the gates, less than a mile. It's a Friday, and we're here at the Laguna Hills Certified Farmers Market. It's near Nordstrom Rack, and as you can see behind me, there are all kinds of produce for sale, and we will visit some of the farmers. But first, we're going to talk with Trish and find out a little bit more about the market.
Hi, I'm Trish Harrison. I'm the manager here at the Laguna Hills Certified Farmers Market. We've been here for 21 years. We'd love for you to come on out. We're here every Friday, rain or shine.
Well, Trish, it's a pleasure to be here and finding out all about the market. Now, my first question is, what is a certified farmers market?
Definition of a certified farmers market as opposed to just a regular swap meet or outdoor market is every farmer here is certified, which means they go to the agricultural commissioner of their county. They receive a printed out certificate that says, this is Joe Brown, these are the crops that he grows, and these are the crops that he's allowed to sell in a farmer's market. So they're certified, all the farmers are certified, which means they're not going to downtown LA buying the stuff and reselling it. And our market itself is certified too. And you can actually talk, most of the people that are here are either the farmers themselves or they work for the farmers, so they can tell you exactly what goes on with the production. Okay. The most popular booths here in the non-agricultural section, which means the non-farmers. This is Ruji, that's what we call him, but his name really is Khalid. He works for Baba Foods, and he is the hummus guy. And we always say, come and try, don't be shy, don't be afraid of the hummus guy. What do you have here, Ruji?
We specialize for selling hummus. We have 17 flavors of hummus. The most popular of the hummus, avocado cilantro. You're a star! And spicy hummus with harissa.
This is another favorite of the market. And these guys have unusual berries. You might recognize some of them. You have strawberries, you have raspberries, blueberries. But for those of you that remember, these are gooseberries. And nobody else sells gooseberries here. But this is a very, very popular stand here. This is one of our more popular vendors here. This is JM Citrus. This is Jimmy. He has oranges and avocados. Unfortunately, the avocado season is done for right now.
Oranges are going out of season. The navels are coming into season in about a month and a half.
Now, how many vendors do you actually have here in Laguna Hills?
In this market, vendors, that includes the certified farmers, that includes the people that have the non-agricultural things like breads and fish and cheese and all that, and some of the crafters. I think it's about 45.
Oh, that's a good size.
Yes.
Really a good size. Each of your markets have a slightly different feel to it, even though there's a crossover between the vendors, but each one is special.
Yes, absolutely. It's quite interesting. This market, let me give you a for instance. This market in the morning, we get the mall walkers, you know, the seniors that are into the healthy things.
Of course.
They get here early. The first hour is mostly the seniors. And they're smart. They don't come out in the middle of the hot weather too. And then the next hour you'll see moms with strollers. And then the next hour you'll see people that are working over at the hospital, or you know, guys in suits that are here on their lunch hour.
So
it's a mix. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really encourage you to come out to the farmers market. It's an event every Friday. We love having you. We love all of our Leisure World residents. You are the ones that made this market. And we appreciate you've been doing this for 21 years, and we thank you so much.
El Toro Road is one of the main thoroughfares through Laguna Woods. If you go west, you'll be at the beach in a few miles. But what happens if you go east? We thought we would find out. So here we are at the eastern end of El Toro Road at the famous Cook's Corner. It's pretty tame now, but by tonight this place will be hopping with probably 100 Harleys parked outside. Now, while things are peaceful, we got a chance to talk with Rhonda. Rhonda, thanks for joining us. I know it's tough and you're busy running a bar and a restaurant. Cook's Corner has been around a long time through a lot of natural events like fires and earthquakes. What makes you stay?
The people.
The people.
Yeah, the area.
Okay.
It's not corporate.
I mean,
it's a lot of fun.
Cook's Corner is almost an icon in this part of California. Did you?
Everywhere.
Is it a family everywhere? Is it really? I mean,
Yeah.
all of California?
Uh-huh.
I've only been in California for 4 years. Our first visit to this area, one of the first places we ever visited coming up was this, came in for a beer. I mean, just we were from Texas and came here for a beer. So I guess you're right. Maybe it's worldwide.
Yeah, it's world famous.
But is Cook's a family name?
It is.
Now, are you,
The same family doesn't own it now.
Okay.
However, but Andrew Cook started Cook's in, I think it was 1884. He bought land out here and then he built a structure. And then I think in 1926, around then, his son took over, E.J. Cook, and he made it a restaurant for miners and ranchers and things.
Was it always, is a biker bar, is that a bad term?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not if you're a biker.
No, I understand. Which I think you are. I've seen some pictures up here. You love it. Is
Yeah.
it Harley that you ride?
Yeah.
Okay. Has it always been the biker bar? How did that evolve?
Well, I think about, I don't know when they sold it. I want to say in the 60s or 70s, they sold it to,
A corporation.
yeah,
Okay.
a motorcycle corporation. They did
Really?
motorcycle apparel and mechanics and things like that. So they kind of brought it into the, for bikers and club members and patch holders and things to hang out where they would be left alone.
That's how it became. Okay, that's very interesting. Now the most important question of the day. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. With a name like Rhonda, how many times a day does somebody come up to you and repeat that Beach Boys song?
Not many anymore.
No? Okay.
Yeah, they used to happen all the time, but
Okay.
not anymore.
Did it make you mad? Like, come on, go away, go away.
Nah, not at all.
Okay. So you just went with it.
Yeah.
Now, you guys feature a lot of good music up here. Is that mostly on the weekends
We have live music on Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
and Sunday?
Uh-huh.
Is it Sunday during the day or is
Yeah,
it
day.
during the day? Now, a lot of bikers come here. Is there a number one thing besides beer that they come for? Is it something in the
I think
menu?
it's camaraderie.
That I can say. Because
The food's excellent, and we serve good drinks, and our prices are good, and there's just an eclectic group of people. So it's a people watching show.
Yeah, as you said, it's they don't think you're here because of the people.
Yeah.
Now, when did you get involved?
I started in 1995.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a while. Did you start off as a waitress or
A bartender.
bartender?
Yeah.
And did you always want to get into management, or it was
No,
something
it just
that,
kind of happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a small. We've only have a handful of employees, so we kind of we've all been here for years, over 10, 20 years. So yeah.
Okay. Again, thanks for joining us. I know you're busy, and I look forward to coming more to Cook's Corner.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Please come back.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Here at Cook's Corner, El Toro ends and divides into Live Oak Canyon Road to the right and East Santiago Canyon Road to the left. Now, both are very interesting drives, but today we are heading up East Santiago Canyon Road in search of some beautiful scenery and some interesting historical sites. I'm standing in the front of the Majeska House here in Majeska Canyon, which is in front of the Majeska Peak. So who was this Majeska person? Turns out she was an actress who was very well known and loved in her time. She became famous performing in her native Poland. She immigrated to the U.S. around 1876, and in spite of her Polish accent, she was very much in demand, especially for playing Shakespeare. And how popular was she? You get some idea for some of the things she was named for. This house, the canyon, the mountains, the Majeska Park and Helene Street in Anaheim, Majeska Falls. What about the house? Madame Majeska so fell in love with this area that she planned to abandon her career and, as she said, live a life of toil under the blue skies of California, among the hills, riding on horseback with a gun over my shoulder. Well, that didn't work out. She knew nothing about the realities of ranching, of course, so she went back to theater. But her beautiful house, which she called Arden, is still here and available for tours. You should come. Now let's go take a look. Silverado. The name just sounds like something from the Old West, doesn't it? Well, here we are in the town of Silverado in Silverado Canyon, and the name comes from the silver mines, and it's in its heyday in the late 1800s. This area swelled into the town of around 1,500 people with, believe it, 3 hotels, 3 general stores, and 7 saloons. But the boom didn't last long. When the silver played out, the town all but disappeared. They say that you can still see remnants of the old mines up in the hills here. Well, we may not find any silver in Silverado, but still it's well worth the drive up here. Beautiful scenery and some rustic historic buildings. And now let's go take a look.
Well, we're now at Jirachi Vineyards, and I'm talking to the 2 principals in this organization. We have Chad Kearns and Michael Chupola, and what a beautiful place you folks have. It's
Thank you.
how did you come to be in the wine business?
Wine was sort of an escape. I went to school in Northern California, and we spent a lot of time being cellar rats in Napa or Sonoma or the foothills. And it was just a big change of pace. And as I grew up and I got into my career of healthcare, it was sort of an escape. It was healthcare was stressful, and jobs were busy, and it was more relaxed when we were wine tasting and walking around a vineyard.
At one point, you got tired of the business you were in and decided to do something different?
Sort of. I was successful enough in the business I was in to afford my wife and I to start looking for winery property. And we looked around Paso for a long time. We toured a lot of properties. We made a lot of offers on properties. We were beat out by existing wineries. My daughter was into horses and equestrian, and we came out to this property to look for a horse for her, and she rode the horse. And as we were leaving, the trainer turned to me and said, "You know, that place is for sale." And I started thinking about it, and it kept me up a few nights. And
so it had not been a winery prior to that. It had been a horse ranch, more or less.
Yeah, this was this area of Orange County was a 255-acre horse ranch. It was the Jackson Ranch. It started, several hundred years ago with the land grants and things is when it started, but the Jacksons bought it back in the probably the 30s or 40s. My wife could tell you the specific dates, but they built it into a horse ranch, and it was a operating horse ranch until the 80s, and it was bought by Al Hampton, who used to have all of the dinner theaters.
Oh, right.
In Orange County. Yeah. And he, in '85, added a few buildings and things, and that was the last time any buildings were added to the property. He wanted to make it an Arabian breeding farm.
Wow. Arabians are beautiful horses.
Yeah, they are.
Michael, how did you get in the picture? How did you and Michael Chad meet each other?
Well, my initiation into wine started at my grandpa's knee in Brooklyn, New York. When he would make Italian red down there, who knows what it was, but when Mom wasn't looking, he'd give me a little taste.
So the true Italian family tradition, right?
Absolutely. So I think red wine was in my blood, and in my early 20s, I started making wine as a hobby.
Wow.
And then fast forward, Chad and I met about 20 some odd years ago doing charity work for Children's Hospital.
Chalk.
For Chalk.
Uh-huh.
And it was a show called the Chalk Follies.
Which I've seen several times.
Good. That
So
you've
I-
seen Chad and I up on stage.
Really?
I
Okay,
like to say I
wonderful.
was the talent and he was the pretty face.
So
We
what
met
did-
backstage, and the first bit of conversation was about wine
Okay.
and his interest and my winemaking experience. And shortly after, we said, let's make a batch of wine together. And we did back in maybe '98 or so.
99, I think, was our first one. It was a Zinfandel.
And that wine took third place in Orange County Fair,
Oh my gosh, your first batch together.
which was bittersweet because Chad
Not
and
the
I did
wine,
all
but-
the work, and Linda, his wife,
wife.
who designed the label, took a silver medal.
Oh,
So
Wow.
we tease about that.
wow. So an auspicious beginning to a winemaking career.
To a friendship.
So then the friendship lasted, and then eventually you got into business together.
He started the winery about 10 or more years ago.
We opened in 2011. It was a multi-years to get us going and to actually start us, but our doors opened in 2011.
We were the first club members, my wife and I. Of
All
course,
right.
that was our duty as best friends.
Yes.
And he was starting to make some good wine. 4 or 5 years later, he said, "I want a second winery. Are you up for it?"
Ah.
I think we had gone through a bottle or two before I gave him my answer, so I don't ever remember saying yes. But next day I knew I was in.
He claims you did, right?
yeah.
We opened Cowboy Canyon Winery. Then.
Okay.
And that's been about 7-8 years.
Yeah, we opened that in 2014.
Yeah.
So there are, what, 2 or 3 wineries on this property?
Yeah, we actually we have several labels, is what we classify them. The winery makes most of the wine, but the different labels, Cowboy Canyon is one of our main labels, as well as Jirachi Vineyards and Farms. We also have a Stone's Throw down in San Juan.
So where is your wine sold?
We sell everything off property.
I
We
see.
have been in several restaurants. Right now, we're not in any of the restaurants around, but we do sell out from our tasting rooms.
Now, I have not seen all of your property, but I see more of horse property than grapes growing here.
Well, it's sort of an atmosphere. If you've ever been around and have a romance for something, wine is more than just a drink that people drink at a dinner.
Indeed.
It's friendship, it's communion, it's community, it's celebratory, and horses and equestrian is a lot of that as well.
I don't see a lot of grapes on the place here. So how do you make wine? Do you grow grapes here?
We do grow grapes. Orange County was grape country before Napa Valley existed.
Really?
Back in the 1850s, Orange County had 54, I think, wineries in Anaheim.
No kidding.
The issue we've got in Orange County is Orange County has a lot of disease. And at that time, we didn't know what the disease was. They called it the Anaheim disease.
No, we're talking about disease for grapes, right?
For grapes,
Yeah.
correct. It was no COVID or anything
Right.
from back then. But they classified it the Anaheim disease, and they brought over a botanist from Germany by the name of Pierce to figure out what was going on with the grapes and why they were dying. And from what we know now, Orange County was the first place that Pierce's disease happened.
Oh.
But we do have some grapes here. I grow Mourvedre, I grow Grenache.
And so you actually make the wine here?
We do. Even when we source the grapes, we bring the grapes down. I go up, and it's usually a 12-hour trip. You drive up in a refrigerated truck. We pick them, harvest them, put them in picking bins,
wow.
and bring them back down refrigerated to keep any start to ferment down. We bring them onto property. We throw them through the crusher and destemmer, and start the ferment here. We do some of the whites and the champagnes off-site. We use custom crush facilities because we just don't have the personnel or the space or the equipment.
Wow. So you've been doing this now for some years. You've built up some reputation, no doubt.
We have. My first year of making commercial wine was 2006. And so about 15 years I've been making commercial wine.
Wonderful.
And we've won medals from Orange County, LA, Monterey, San Francisco, Sonoma, West Coast Wine Competition. So a lot of the big winery competitions.
Now, Michael, I noticed that you have a lot of beautiful sites, I guess you could say, here, tasting room and there's a fountain out here. Looks like a beautiful place to have an event. Do you rent these places out for events?
You bet. Yes, we do a number of weddings, corporate events. Each year, most weekends during the prime time are booked with events. So we do a lot of that sort of thing. So that's a big part of our business. And of course, they buy our wine and they enjoy it during the weddings. So
we do have our own events on property too. We do about 3 events a month between our wineries, which are just open to the public. Anybody can come and either enjoy or buy tickets. We have one coming up in November, which Michael will be singing at. He's
Italian Nights.
He's a very good tenor, and he'll be singing some jazz standards, and we'll be serving a nice Italian meal.
Wow. So you can get tickets online?
Yeah, you can go to either Jirachi.com or CowboyCanyonWinery.com, and you can buy them online. It's, I think, November 6th.
November 6th from 5 to 9:30, and it's I'll be doing a 3-hour show of Sinatra and Sinatra-type music and a great Italian meal. Last time was lasagna, meatballs, sausage and peppers, just a good fun night. I like to say that at our last event, 400 strangers showed up and 400 family members left.
Oh, really?
And that's kind of how that event is. So it's a popular one, and even though it's not till November, we're about half sold out already.
Right.
So.
And you have monthly activities too, I think.
Yeah. We do the first Friday of the month is Fandango Friday. That's one of our cowboy events.
That's line dancing and country music.
Into wine and line dancing, so that sounds
there you go.
Sounds like fun.
Then tonight is Wine Down Friday.
Wine Down Friday.
Yeah, the third Friday of every month we do Wine Down, and tonight it'll be I think Hunting Waldo is a band, and we're doing some chicken piccata and some rice pilaf. And
get here. But the way to find that out, I suppose, to get on your website.
Right.
Which is?
We've got Jirachi, GIRACCI.com.
Okay.
And CowboyCanyonWinery.com.
Okay. And I think I can spell Cowboy Canyon.
Yeah.
That one's easy to remember.
Well, from Laguna Woods, it's one
turns.
street.
Yeah.
El Toro Road becomes Santiago Canyon Road, and Santiago Canyon Road is right here to our left.
So
you don't have to make any turns till you get here.
Until you see your little tiny sign out there, figure out where to turn right.
That's the kind of directions I like.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been delightful to talk with you, and best of wishes as you continue your wine business. And you made a convert here, so I'm looking forward to coming out to some of your events.
Well, this has been fun, Tom. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for being gentle.
A brand new feature of Silverado Canyon is the Abbey of St. Michael. This is a Norbertine monastery. It's one of 35 Norbertine monasteries around the world and the only one in California. Now, while the Order of Norbertine Priests has roots going back to the 12th century, this particular abbey was founded in 1961 by 7 priests from Hungary. When Hungary fell to communism in the 1950s, these priests were told to leave the priesthood or die. 7 of them left the country with just the clothes on their backs, fleeing to the United States and eventually reestablished their order in California. The grounds were eventually deemed too unstable for future growth, so they moved to this 320-acre property in Silverado Canyon. The building was opened earlier this year, but finishing touches are still being added. The monks at the Abbey of St. Michael are committed to live here the rest of their lives. The Abbey now houses 50 priests and 45 seminarians studying for priesthood. Built in the traditional 900-year-old Romanesque style, the buildings are made of steel and concrete to make them earthquake and fireproof. When our small group visited recently, we were made very welcome by Father Joe, as he preferred to be called, though he wasn't willing to be interviewed on camera. But he showed us the church building, pointing out many features such as the unique cross, the beautiful stained glass windows, and some of the artwork was still in process, including the murals in the side chapels where an Italian artist was at work. We found the Abbey to be quite beautiful in a serene and tranquil surrounding. Everyone we met was pleasant and welcoming.